And welcome back for one final time in Season 1 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. It's the finale, the final round of points paying matches, week number 8
Hooray!
here on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games. Tonight, we will crown a champion, and it's an extra interesting night because not only is it the Christmas special, the final round of points paying matches, we have a brand new TFT set, don't we, George?
We do. Very exciting, especially for you as well. Not knowing anything about TFT being thrown in the deep end here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Set 16 is now upon us. 40 new units, a million new augments, and so many more fun surprises lying ahead for our players. And as we head into the championship round, we are going to take a look at the points heading in to week 8. Just a quick reminder of how the points look. Newt Silver leads the way with 2 hands on the trophy, 102 points with 6 wins on the season. Heading into this final round, 32 points ahead of Pastelova on 2 wins. Fighting hard for second with Jai, just 1 point behind, has 3 wins on the season. Steph, 12 points behind, in 4th place, has 1 win. Coco Slayer on 54 points is tied with Retro. Took a record-breaking win last week in week number 7 to put himself tied for 5th. Patat just 6 points back in 7th. Extra Thick is in 8th, and then Mr. Mango, Nicotine, Kami, Minty, Mini Legend, and Ty, who's yet to make an appearance, round out our 15 players on the season. George, if you'd like to take us through the bonus points that we've got for tonight.
Yeah, even though we're in a new set, bonus points are still remaining the same. You will gain bonus points for achieving a prismatic trait, and for that you gain 2 bonus points. And today you will gain an additional point if you get the prismatic Bilgewater trait. You will also gain an additional point if you get a 3-star 4 cost, an additional 3 points if you get a 3-star 5 cost. You will also today gain an additional point if your 3-star 4 cost is specifically Misfortune, Swain, Renekton, or Lux.
And we're going to quickly take a look in just a moment at a couple players that we have been focusing on. Obviously, Newt Silver has been the talk of the town, championship leader, but a couple players here, Steph and Jai, have been putting in really impressive seasons. Jai leading the points briefly towards the beginning of the season, but we'll touch on Steph first. 4th in the league with 14 games, 1 win, a 7% win rate, and 5 top 4s. It's not been a bad season for Steph.
No, yeah, he had a pretty rocky start, but he's been pretty consistent in his games in the sense of most of them are 7 and then most of them are top 4. But yeah, moving on to Jai though, top 3, he had like 1 week off, and unfortunately that probably pushed him off of that top spot. But yeah, been here for 12 games, 3 wins with a 25% win rate and 7 top 4s.
It's been massively consistent when he is here. I think potentially that 1 week absence might have buried any chance of winning the title. He sits in 3rd, 33 points behind Newt Silver as they run. Newt Silver does have 2 hands on the championship. There are some permutations. If Newt Silver outscores Pastelova and Jai by 10 and 9 points respectively, she'll actually clinch the title early before game number 2, and it could all happen right here in game number 1. We're going to jump in now. And we are here at the carousel for week 8, game 1, the final week of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series in its inaugural season. We'll take a quick look at just who is on the card for today. We have, firstly, our bot Ipropo, or random player. Not actually sure whether it's a bot or a rando, but that is Ipropo there in the first spot. Pastelova, Extra Thick, Coco Slayer, Patat, Jai, Newt Silver, and Retro, the 7 remaining players. 1 big absence, George. Steph, not here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Steph is ill today, so he won't be participating. But he will be here in spirit, okay? That festive spirit.
He got his flowers on the broadcast regardless. A very, very strong season for him. Won't end as he wanted it to. May drop a couple places with this absence, but it's been a valiant effort nonetheless, with very, very consistent season, especially in this latter half. So Extra Thick, who currently sits 8th in the points, doesn't have much of a chance at the title, albeit only by mathematics, but still has a chance. We're looking here at Extra Thick as well with a Bruiser comp. It looks to be Bruiser, Bilgewater, and Zorn. Those are 3 new comps here in Sec 16. So immediately things being changed up dramatically. What were you potentially expecting to see from this brand new set?
Yeah, well, Bruiser is pretty much the same as before. It just gives a bunch of additional bonus health to those Bruiser units. But yeah, there's a lot of new comps. Specifically, this set, there are a lot of fast 9 rolling comps. So we should be seeing a lot of late game comps, a lot of 4-cost units, a lot of 5-cost units, and potentially 1 or 2 reroll comps. I think there's only 2 reroll comps at the moment, being Yordle primarily and Ishtar as well. But yeah, Bilgewater, a really fun new mechanic. It gives you your own shop. You gain new currency, new coins, and using those coins you can buy units, you can buy upgrades, and yeah, power-ups and new items as well.
Definitely. So 1,000,001 new things to look out for. We see some augment choices here. This is Coco Slayer's selection. You've got Aura Farming, Replication, and Spoils of War too. That's a triple reroll for Coco Slayer. So not particularly pleased with their initial options. We'll see what they go for. And still their comp really yet to be decided. Nothing being fleshed out just yet for Coco Slayer as they reach level 4. Everyone putting a lot of their initial investments into XP. This is Patat, who yet to win a game since week 1, of course. Briefly sat joint with Giant at the top of the standings, and it's our first fight of the evening. It's Patat versus defending points leader Newt Silver as she tries to take the championship.
Yeah, as we can see here, Patat going for that reroll Yordle comp that we mentioned a minute ago, but Newt Silver as well also going for that Yordle. Fortunately though, Yordle is a really strong early game comp, but it's really easy to pivot off of in the late game. Yeah, as it gives you those free rerolls, so it's easier to find your units, etc. But yeah.
As we see, our first fights of the night are done. Extra Thick, Giant Newt Silver, and Retro winning their first fights. Patat, Ipropo, Pasta Lover, and Coco Slayer down at the bottom of the leaderboard. Still, everyone separated by only 6 points. Everyone getting to grips with set 16 with this new Lore and Legends update. Still a lot yet to come. Just a couple seconds left on the clock as Ipropo reaches level 4. It will be Jai versus Patat. So Patat, again, under the spotlight here, looking for their first win. Jai looking for a second win in a row to potentially start a strong game for Jai. And immediately, Patat's front line depleted, but Patat's backline looks very, very fleshed out. Can the healing do the damage for Jai? It most definitely can, helping his front line take out Patat's squishies. That's a second loss in a row for Patat, a second win in a row for Jai, as all the rest of the fight is still to be decided. Patat and Pasta Lover both losing out to Ipropo and to Extra Thick. Jai, Newt Silver and Retro as well losing out means Extra Thick and Jai are the only undefeated players so far in Phase 2-3.
Yeah, Jai potentially looking for an Ionia or an Arcanist comp at the moment. Ionia is a really good early game comp. It functions pretty similar to Soulfighter from last set. Whereas Soulfighter just gave you the stats, Ionia gives you stats when your Ionian units cast, and Arcanist gives all of your team AP, but gives your Arcanist specifically additional AP on top of that. Newt's over here going Yordle. Yordle, again, as well, functions pretty similarly to the crew, where it gives you health and attack speed depending on the amount of Yordles on your team, but the more Yordles you get, the more bonuses you get, and they gain additional health and attack speed the higher star level they are.
So erring on the side of familiarity for a lot of these players in this brand new set. We see Newt Silver versus Retro, and it looks to be going the way of Newt Silver. It looks for all the board like Retro might win that with a big unit advantage, but Newt Silver's backline really pulled through there, heading back into the carousel for the first time. No one is out just yet. Extra Thick and Jai lead 3-0. Newt Silver with 2 wins and 1 loss. Retro and Coco Slayer are tied on 94 points. Ipropo in 6th on 90. Patat on 87. Pasta Lover on 81.
Yeah, potentially not a great game for Pasta Lover at the moment, but maybe looking for that early lose streak, because as we've seen in this tournament, despite having lost streaks early in the game, our players are very likely to come back. But I am going to knock on wood, because our caster streamer curse is very potent.
we've had our fair share of caster curses in the 8
Yep.
weeks of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series here. Many times have we said, well, it's looking good for this player,
Yep.
and they are immediately eliminated, or they lose a streak, or something goes wrong. So we knock on wood, but most definitely our players have been very good at using those loose streaks early game to their advantage, build that econ, and then flesh out their sets for when it matters most. And here we have first and second in the championship, Newt Silver versus Pastalover. Reminder, if Newt Silver outscores Pastalover by 10 points and outscores Dry by 9 points, she can clinch the title before game 2 even happens here. Of course, that does rely on scoring a few bonus points, which have been notoriously difficult to get this season so far. But Newt Silver is well on her way to a championship, taking out Pastalover there. And as you see, Poppy has been unlocked, because that is one of the biggest new mechanics in set 16, pardon me.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful. You unlock units rather than having them all immediately at your disposal.
Yeah, so this set specifically has 100 units, as opposed to previous sets where they have 60. And the way to unlock these new units are by completing small side quests within the game. Now, the difficulty of the quest depends on the strength of the unit. 5 costs will be considerably harder to get, but their power will also increase based on the difficulty of the quest.
Definitely willing to see, or waiting to see what they're willing to do to get those 5 costs or 3-star 4 costs worth 3 points. Additional points if there are any of the 4 that you see in the bottom right of your screen. And it's week 8, it's the finale. This is where points are all important here. Retro versus Ipropo, and it's going to be Ipropo getting it done here. Moves up to 6th on the leaderboard. Retro losing out there, as well as Coco Slayer, Patat, and Pastalover. You see Retro unlocking the Gwen unit there. Meanwhile, Extra Thick leads the way, gets to level 6, is on 5 wins in a row, the only perfect player so far.
Yeah, Shadow Isles kind of functions as a little bit of a scaling comp as well. Somewhat similar to Battle Academia, but they gain souls on each kill, and that like empowers their, or doesn't empower their abilities, but it makes them stronger. It acts like additional AD or AP. And the way to unlock those new Shadow Isles units is to get more souls. And I believe mine is 75 souls. But yeah, they are probably looking for a late game Shadow Isles comp.
Definitely. Not going to be over till it's over. Everyone's still figuring out these new comps. Which comp's a good early game? Which one's a good late game? The leaderboard can be deceiving. For example, Pastalover, we're looking at here now, sits in last place on only 69 points. Yet to win a game is 0-5. But of course, loose streaking a very viable tactic as we head into phase 3. See some players start to pick some 2-star units. Kennen there for Newt Silver, but now focusing on Extra Thick, the current leader, undefeated 5-0, going for a Targon comp, it would seem.
Yeah, Targon's a bit of a weird one this set, as all of the Targon units don't have a trait other than Targon, but Targon doesn't give you anything specifically. So like Bruiser gives you that HP, Targon doesn't give you anything. However, the Targon units themselves are considerably stronger than the other units. So just having a bunch of Targon units on your board is viable, but they're also good filler options as well. But yeah, Extra Thick here with Cluttered Mind, getting that XP while not having to econ as much. Yeah.
And Extra Thick looking particularly strong here. That fight definitely dragged on a bit with Ipropo, but did get it done. 6-0. Newt Silver, Giant, and Retro also all winning, so that's going to start extending the gap between the top 4 and the bottom 4. We see another round of augment picks here. This is Extra Thick selection. We've gained 21 gold. Pretty box standard. Rerolls on that one. We'll see what they choose here. Do we see 3 rerolls potentially from Extra Thick? Has rerolled for Exiles 2 and Solo Plate. Still has Care Package from his initial selection.
Potentially. Gain 21 gold, being the name of gaining 21 gold is pretty ironic. I do love that. But yeah, going for that care package there, getting those items. Yeah.
Very strong start to game 1 for Extra Thick. Leads the way, still on 100 points. And we're about to go back into another round of combat. Coco Slayer is who we focus on. They are going to come up against Extra Thick, who leads the way. So this is 5th versus 1st on the leaderboard. Coco Slayer is in the green, Extra Thick in the red. Both front lines looking particularly fleshed out at this point, but Extra Thick's, I think, more so. Definitely has a lot more damage output, begins to overwhelm Coco Slayer ever so slightly. It's a 5v1, a dominant victory, 7-0 for Extra Thick against Coco Slayer. Drops Coco Slayer down to 6th. Patak down to last place. Newt Silver up to 5 wins in a row as Jai loses out as well. Still waiting for the fight between Ipropo and Pasta Lover to conclude while we await that result. That could be a big result, and it's Pasta Lover losing out, goes down to last place on 52 points. Ipropo up to 5th.
Yeah, Coco Slayer here with the Ishtal. Ishtal functions similar to the gambling comps. However, this set, instead of it being completely unreliable, as in previous sets, if you accidentally won against either like an AFK person or a really weak person, it would immediately cash you out and you'd lose all of it. But this set, Ishtal gives you missions, and when you complete those missions, you gain points. And the more points you get, the higher your cash outs will be. But if you gain, I think it's 500 or 750 of those points, you will gain the unit Brock, who is a really big rock.
Well, definitely would hurt if you had a big rock land on you. Definitely be a viable strategy here. Coco Slayer versus Patak on the cards now. These are two loose streaking players, so something will give between these two players here. Coco Slayer in 6th, Patak in 7th. This fight does begin to drag on just a little bit. It goes the way of Patak, and she launches herself into 6th place. Coco Slayer now in 7th. Pasta Lover down in 8th. Newt Silver, pardon me, on 6 wins in a row. Extra Thick keeping that perfect streak alive. And as we head into the carousel, Extra Thick and Newt Silver lead the way. Jai on 86 points, Retro on 79. Then a big gap back to Ipropo on 63 points, Patat on 58. Coco Slayer on 59, and Pasta Lover already on just 40 points, yet to win a game.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate for Pasta Lover. But to be fair, earlier when we were visiting their board, they had a considerable amount of gold above everyone else. So the loose streak is, you know, helping that economy, but will he have the chance to use it?
We'll have to wait and see as Coco Slayer now takes to the board, fleshing out that Ishtal comp, as you mentioned, George. Those missions, hopefully he can complete them. We see that on the left-hand side, 0 out of 25. Just what is that exactly?
So that is the point system that I mentioned a minute ago. The more of those points they get, they have a specific name, sun something, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, that is the storing of those points. Like again, like Crystal Rose last set, they had that little crystal rose on the side that tracked their points. But yeah, it essentially just tracks the points of Ishtal.
See Patat versus Pasta Lover now. So this is 6th versus 8th. As we see, Patat has just snapped a losing streak here. We'll see if Pasta Lover can snap there. So far, it doesn't seem to be going that way, although Pasta Lover putting up a decent fight. Starts to lose a lot of his frontline units now. 3v2. Can Pasta Lover get the picks he needs? It's a 2v1, and it is going to go the way of Patat. Pasta Lover now, I believe, 0-8 as Extra Thick loses their win streak. That puts Newt Silver in the lead here in game number 1. Jai as well winning. It just closes that gap to Extra Thick ever so slightly. Pasta Lover now just 32 points, already starting to have their back against the wall just a little bit in this middle game. But Newt Silver now back sort of where she's very familiar with in 1st place.
Yeah, not the best day for Pasta Lover, but Jai here with Ionia. Pretty ironic, as one of his favorite comps last set was Soul Fighter, and now he's going the Soul Fighter-esque comp this set. So we definitely know what this man loves. I don't know where I was going with that, but we move. Yeah, that 4-cost Belveth there, potentially going for a little bit of Slayer, maybe like Yasuo carry, or holding items for some later units, but yeah.
See Jai now taking on Pasta Lover. Pasta Lover has to start winning games. Newt Silver already takes out Coco Slayer, really without much of a whimper, and Jai dominates Pasta Lover down to just 21 points now. Is Pasta Lover really needs to start winning games and pronto here. Newt Silver continues to extend her win streak alongside Extra Thick and Jai, as well as Retro. That puts a big gap between the top 4 and the bottom 4. Retro in 4th on 69 points, Ipropo in 5th on 52. Then Patat just 6 points behind. Coco Slayer on 34. And then, as we mentioned, Pastelava on just 21 points. Pastelava has got to outscore Newt Silver by a long, long way. Currently sits second in the points. Needs to outscore Newt Silver by a long, long way if they are to keep their title hopes alive. And right now, this is not the way to go.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Yeah, a pretty quick game again. Not the game we want to be having in the finals, but yeah, Pastelava already 1 foot in the grave. Coco Slayer not too far behind, and yeah.
As they all win their PvE fights pretty routinely. You see we're focused on Pastelava 0-10. As we see the first 3-star unit of the game goes to Newt Silver, a 3-star Lulu pick. Lulu, a newer unit in set 16. Lulu, the new unit. That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we see Newt Silver going for that Yordle comp almost at a gold level there with 6 units there. Gets to 8. That will turn into a gold augment gold certification for that Yordle comp.
Yeah.
So Newt Silver really starting to flesh that comp out well. And it's going to be tested against Pastelava, first and second in the points. Once again, going at it. Newt Silver in the green, Pastelava in the red. And sure enough, Pastelava has to win this game. Otherwise, they must definitely have 1 foot in the grave. Newt Silver's front line looks oh so strong here. That is why she has 8-1 fights in a row. Pastelava not going down without a fight, though. Pastelava's front line still looks alive. He's starting to go after Newt Silver's squishy characters, and it is going to really deplete Newt Silver's backline, and it's going to be Pastelava's first win of the game. Takes down Newt Silver, snaps that 8-0 win streak, gives Extra Thick the lead back, and as we see some prismatic augment picks now coming in, does Pastelava potentially have a lifeline?
Yeah, potentially. Like, he got that 2-star Lux, potentially going for that 3-star Lux on the bonus points just there. But yeah, Lux is a pretty funky unit. She throws essentially her Q in League of Legends, where she binds 2 enemies and then uses her ult, which is that big laser which hits enemies but does more damage to those 2 enemies that she hit originally. But as we can see there, that artifact Luden's Echo, if she gets any kills, she's going to be doing some additional excess damage. But as we can see here, Pastelava going for that Demacia, potentially going for a 10 Demacia, which could be difficult to reach, as I believe you need an emblem, and Silas isn't the easiest character to unlock either, as you need to sell a 2-star Jarvan, a 2-star Garen, and a 2-star Lux, so you have to sacrifice a little bit for him.
We'll see how that comes around for them. Pastelava now against Ipropo, as Pastelava still potentially with a lifeline. Jai now on 5 wins in a row. So Pastelava's in the green, Ipropo is in the red. It looks like a fairly even fight at the minute, but Pastelava's backline looks way more formed up than Ipropo's does. We'll see if that is the difference maker. Ipropo starting to overwhelm Pastelava a little bit though, and Ipropo will get the win over Pastelava. Pastelava unlocks the Galio unit, but down to just 12 points. And now Pastelava has no streak to fall back on. A little bit of gold, 53 in the bank, but that is not what Pastelava needed at all, as Extra Thick and Newt Silver and Jai all win their games. That top 3 are beginning to streak ahead now.
Yeah, Galio, another interesting unit. As you'll see there, even though he hasn't been placed on the board, Demacia has gone from 7 to 8. Galio's traits, wow, Galio, while being off-field, traits can still be activated. Sorry, it's a weird one to explain. During combat, he will jump onto the field, so he doesn't actually need to be placed on field, which can have some pretty freaky interactions. For example, if you give him emblems, he will have that trait even though he's off-field. But yeah, a pretty fun but funky unit.
And it seems to have come into great effect for Pastelava. Takes down Coco Slayer. Patat loses out as well. And all of a sudden, the elimination fight just got very, very tight indeed. Pastelava on 12 points. Coco Slayer and Patat both on 10. Your leaderboard now. Extra Thick leads the way on 91 points. Newt Silver and Giant both losing their most recent games. Newt Silver's on 76. Giant on 74. Retro is on 47, just ahead of Ipropo on 40. And then the elimination fight so far. Pastelava in 6th place on 12 points. Coco Slayer in 7th place on 10. Patat also on 10 in last. So 3 players really with their backs against the wall, potentially only 1 game away from going down. Potentially a repeat of last week where we saw 3 players get eliminated at the exact same time.
Very true, yeah, like you mentioned, 3 players sitting around 10 HP, so they really need to pull it together because it is 1 loss away from losing, and you don't want to be losing right now, especially, again, this is the finale. This is where you want to be doing well. Coco Slayer unfortunately has not completed their quest for that Ishtal yet. Unfortunately, we don't know what it is, but that solo leveling Zillion potentially going to come in clutch here.
We'll see how it comes in clutch against Extra Thick. So Extra Thick leads the way. Coco Slayer's in the green, Extra Thick is in the red. Extra Thick currently leads on 91 points. Looking particularly formidable, although no one has a win streak above 5 just yet. You see, no one has that fire around their avatar, but as Extra Thick reaches level 8, begins to overwhelm Coco Slayer. Could this be the end of Coco Slayer's night? As Extra Thick gets the win, and we wait for confirmation of just how much points Coco Slayer has lost. It's just about enough on -1. Patat eliminated as well. 2 in 1. Coco Slayer will finish 8th. Patat will finish 7th here. Coco Slayer eliminated by just 1 point. Patat eliminated just by 0 points there. Pastelava hangs on with a win to stay on 12 points, but Extra Thick now on 5 in a row. Jai usurps Newt Silver to 2nd on the leaderboard, so Jai making just about some inroads on Newt Silver's points lead. Unsure as of yet whether that will be enough to take the championship. Apropo, Retro, and Pastelava, though, staying alive in the bottom 3.
Yeah, Extra Thick here going that really safe Targon comp. Yeah, really strong, but he got that Aurelian Soul, which I believe he just, drops those stars on the enemies. So hopefully he's going to continue to do enough damage, but this Belveth here looks really scary.
See Extra Thick now beginning to overwhelm Jai, but Jai beginning to come back and gets the win over Extra Thick, and that is a huge win for Jai. Snaps Extra Thick streak, brings the gap just slightly closer. Newt Silver winning as well. We're still waiting for the fight between Pastelava and Apropo. Pastelava gets the win and stays alive. So Retro loses out, is now on 20 points. Apropo on 30, brings Pastelava still potentially within arm's reach of a decent win streak, which could keep them alive in this game. Still Extra Thick playing spoiler here, yet to win a game, and a first win coming in the finale definitely would be something to write home about for Extra Thick. Leads by 5 points right now over Jai.
Yeah, this could be Jai's comeback. Again, he's, what, 32 points behind Nude Silver, so whilst not close, it's still mathematically possible for him to win, but only if he gets both wins and gets a pretty excessive amount of bonus points. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going any of the units for the bonus points, but maybe next game,
Never know. We calculated that around 41 points is around the maximum you can get for a game, and the most that anyone has ever got in a single game of TFT in this format is 11. And that was Newt Silver just a couple weeks ago. Got a win as well as a 3-star bonus unit. So we'll have to wait and see whether anyone can beat that. With 40 extra units, it seems more likely that people will get more bonus points, but they have to climb an absolute mountain if they are to catch Newt Silver. On your screens right now is Jai versus Retro. This is 2nd versus 5th, and Jai rather dominantly gets the win over Retro, but Retro stays alive on just 4 points. Pastelava gets the win over Newt Silver. That's a massive pick there for Pastelava. Still waiting for a Propo's fight to finish. Whether they will win, they do. So they stay alive on just 30 points. Jai now in the lead.
Yeah, how funny would it be if the bot won this game?
Ooh.
The finale game. But yeah, Newt's over here getting those 3-star Yordle units. Gonna be giving her a lot of power, but as we see here, a Vigart as well. A 3-star Vigart would be potentially insane, okay? Just getting that 3-star Poppy there. Lots of power for Newt Silver here.
Newt Silver Definitely beginning to build something of a strong comp, has just reached level 8, and she's going to take on Extra Thick to test out this new comp. As she's reached the Gold Yordle certification, we'll see if that could be the difference maker for her. Extra Thick in second place, just behind Jai. Newt Silver in third. Newt Silver searching for the championship here. Extra Thick not going down without a fight. Newt Silver, though, in the green is beginning to overwhelm Extra Thick and gets it done. Pastelova on 5 in a row as Pastelova is now taking down Jai. Does Pastelova still have a lifeline to potentially win this game? Retro as well takes down a Propo. So that brings the elimination fight very, very close together indeed, as Extra Thick in one foul swoop goes from second down to third. Jai, though, still leads. This is a very topsy-turvy first game.
Yeah, indeed. Pastelov on 12 health, but again, coming back. Retro here with Void, but Jai taking those Belveths away, and Retro unable to find that Baron Nashor as well. Unfortunately.
See Retro and Extra Thick now going at it here. This is Retro in the green, Extra Thick in the red. If Retro loses this game, they are out of game number 1 here in week 8, and immediately Extra Thick looking particularly strong. Retro there just with those couple units in the middle, though, beginning to do a lot of damage. A couple of Extra Thick's units are down to some low health. Can Extra Thick begin to mount a comeback here as Pastelova now 6 wins in a row, takes down Jai, I believe. Oh, takes down Propo, as Propo is out of the game. Extra Thick is going to get the win over Retro, and that knocks Retro out as well. So again, 2 players eliminated in one foul swoop here. Twice that's happened now in game 1, and we are down to just 4 players. Newt Silver now leads the way after Pastelova takes down a Propo, and Jai loses out there. So we've had about 4 different leaders at some point in this game, and as we're in the carousel with just 4 players remaining, Newt Silver leads by just 2 points over Extra Thick, by just 8 points over Jai. And while Pastelova's only on 12 points, they're on 6 wins in a row, and they, I think, have a lifeline, potentially the strongest team right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like making a comeback, and still much more room to grow as well. Obviously, as we mentioned, that Silas unit after selling that Lux and that Garen and that Jarvan. But yeah, this Galio proving to be very powerful, but as well, that Swain only being a 1 star, so a lot of room to grow and improve.
Yeah, still potentially bonus points, as you mentioned with that Swain unit, bonus points potentially on the cards for Pastelova, but Pastelova does have to now get past Newt Silver here. Pastelova in the green, Newt Silver with the red health bars. We're waiting to see whether Pastelova can stay alive in this game. Losing this game may not condemn them to elimination, but will halt all of that momentum, and on just single-digit points, that could be the difference maker. But Pastelova beginning to tear through Newt Silver's front line. Does Newt Silver's backline have any response? I think it does, as only a couple units remain for Newt Silver, and Newt Silver does get the win. Pastelova just barely eliminated on 0 points. Pastelova is out in game 1, and that could potentially bury Pastelova's championship hopes here in game 1. Newt Silver now takes the lead. Jai in second, Extra Thick down to third on just 34 points. If Newt Silver gets the bonus points she needs, this could potentially be clinched early, but of course Jai still a contender.
Yeah, those Yordle units proving why they are the most annoying characters in the game. Lots of CC and lots of damage from these Yordles. Lulu making them dance, Fizz jumping on that backline, Teemo poisoning everyone. Just absolutely insane.
Newt Silver now versus Extra Thick. Jai will be taking on a clone of one of these 2 players here. Newt Silver with the green health bars, Extra Thick with the red. And immediately, Newt Silver beginning to tear through Extra Thick's backline here. Extra Thick may not have a response here, and does not. Extra Thick down to just 18 points. Newt Silver now on 4 wins in a row. It's Newt Silver and Jai beginning to run away with it here.
Yeah, Newt Silver here looking for that 3-star Tristana, and potentially that 3-star Fizz as well. Fizz, one of the easier 3-star 4 costs to get, but a very strong unit nonetheless.
Definitely starting to really flesh out these comps now. Everyone beginning to figure out this set 16. It's been out for a few days now. They've had their own games to figure it out. They're back into PvE for a short moment here. Newt Silver collecting all those goods as well as Giant Extra Thick. They will routinely win those. We're in phase 6-1, back to the planning phase. The Yordle comp looking particularly strong here in this opening game. We'll see whether Newt Silver goes back to the Yordle comp potentially for game 2. And of course, this is also this player is taking notes because we're not done with the action. We've still got weeks 9 and 10 to come after this, albeit not for points. So still worth taking notes for what comps are strong in this particular set.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Very much looking forward to weeks 9 and 10. Whilst this is the finale for this year, I guess, we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Definitely not done by any stretch of the imagination. Newt Silver versus Jaina on the cards, so something we'll have to give between these two. We'll see who comes out on top. It's Jai in the green, Newt Silver in the red, and Jai is going to get the win over Newt Silver. And now from an 8, there's a big 16-point swing there. Extra Thick down to just 1 point, just about staying alive by a thread here. But Jai takes the lead now in game 1. That's a critical moment here. That puts him from 8 points behind Newt Silver to 8 points ahead. That's a massive point swing at a crucial moment here. Now all the momentum is with Jai at 3 wins in a row. Extra Thick on 3 losses in a row. Really not doing great in this late game here on just 1 point left. This could be the decider here. Jai, will come up against Extra Thick. This could be Extra Thick's last game unless they pull out something magical here. Jai looking particularly strong. He's in the green health bars. Extra Thick with the red. They all congregate immediately to the top left of the board here as they fight. Front and back lines beginning to merge here. Newt Silver spectating, watching on here as Jai beginning to overwhelm Extra Thick here. Gets it done. Extra Thick eliminated. Jai and Newt Silver will continue on here, both winning their games, and now just 8 points apart. Newt Silver will at least come second in this game, as will Jai, but still so close together by just 8 points. A lot still yet to be decided.
Yeah, Jai ahead for the moment, but as we just saw, Newt Silver getting another 2-star Veigar and is also 2 away from that 3-star Fizz, which could prove pivotal for her winning here.
We'll wait to see whether that could be the difference maker. We're heading into combat in just a couple seconds. Newt Silver versus Jai. It's a matchup we've seen so many times this season. It will only kick off a few more times before a champion is decided. And this could be the most important fight of game number 1. To which way will the momentum swing? Newt Silver beginning to get overwhelmed slightly as Jai's backline joins the fight here. And it will go the way of Jai, 5 in a row. And that is going to put a big load of breathing room between Jai and Newt Silver. 22 points now, the gap, as we head back into the carousel for one final time in game 1.
Yeah, lots of tanky items here, but a few damage ones. Jai opting for that Warmogs, getting that health, as he probably already has enough damage. So opting for that Warmogs definitely. Yeah.
See, just a couple more fights left to go here. Everyone adding the finishing touches to their comps of all the economy, all the units that they could ask for. Full boards of 8 units, both at level 8. A 3-star unit pick there, Koboko and Yumi there for Newt Silver. An extra 3-star unit for Newt Silver. That could potentially be some bonus points as well if there are 4 or 5 cost. But this could potentially be one of the final fights here in game 1. Jai and Newt Silver once again going at it here. We'll see if the momentum potentially swings the way of Newt Silver, but Jai's frontline looks so strong. Immediate picks here in the early fight here. Newt Silver may not have a response here unless she can do something about Jai's frontline. Again, just beginning to overwhelm Newt Silver completely here as unlocks the Volley Bear unit, potentially in the nick of time for Jai. 6 wins in a row, and now Newt Silver 1 game away from elimination in this first game, but it may not be enough still for Jai in the bigger picture.
Yeah, she really has to roll and hit those units right now. Again, 2 away from Fizz and 2 away from that Veigar, but will she find them as we watch her roll down unsuccessfully at the moment.
And that is not what Newt Silver needed. This may be all she wrote for Newt Silver. Not particularly pleased in the chat. I think it was all about 20 rerolls and still not the units that she needed. I think Newt Silver might be surrendering, resigning her fate here early. Could it be a 4th win on the season for Jai and a potential last-ditch resort to claim the championship? Will it be a 7th for Newt Silver to put 2 hands more firmly on the trophy? Game number 1 is going to go the way of Jai and wins his 4th game of the season to win 7 fights in a row to finish it off. Jai may not be out of it just yet. Jai wins game number 1, 4th win of the season, George. And that was a pretty topsy-turvy game to kick off the finals.
Yeah, definitely. Again, lots of people falling out early, but a very strong game in the end. Very close Newt Silver there to that 3-star Fizz and that 3-star Vigar, but unfortunately just unable to find them at the end there, as we saw her frustrations in the chat.
Yeah, definitely not pleased with the seemingly infinite rerolls, dumped all her economy into those rerolls right at the end. Simply didn't come for her. But game 2, still Newt Silver holds all the cards with a 31-point lead, not including the bonus points that they may or may not have scored, because we don't know how to track those live, quite frankly. We don't know which units are 4 or 5 cost in this new set just yet. Of course, we'll go behind the scenes and give you final point standings after game 2. But as it stands, still Newt Silver leads by 31 points on 109 over Jai and Pasta Lover. So still all to play for here. Mathematically not over, but you'd have to say Newt Silver most definitely with 2 hands on the title. We'll be back shortly with all the action from game number 2 here on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games. We're going to take a small 5-10 minute break. Until then, don't go anywhere. And welcome back. We are live on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games for the finale for week 8 of season 1 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. Silver still leads the championship by 31 points with a second place finish in game number 1, but she was usurped by Jai. So Jai has made a slight inroad on her points lead. Of course, it's not mathematically over, but with a 31-point lead, George, she has all but won it.
Yeah, again, mathematically, no, but chances infinitesimally low. Spitting bars there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so a very good run from Nutsova at the moment, and even if she came last this game, the chances of her still being in first are pretty much 100%.
Definitely. There are a few circumstances. I think the maximum points you can get in a game is around about 50 based on, I think, the Bilgewater 10 trait.
Yeah,
I think if you that will pretty much give you all the units you could ever ask for. And it is the season of giving. 'Tis Christmas. Maybe Jai or Pastelova, the only players now that can mathematically win the title, just maybe have Bilgewater 10 on their Christmas list.
Yeah.
Santa may be feeling generous. Newt Silver may well still be looking over her shoulder. It is not all said and done just yet. But before we get into game 2, as the lobby still begins to populate, George, maybe we get a quick prediction, because we didn't do these at the beginning of game 1.
We didn't.
Should we get a prediction for a game 2 winner?
Ooh, who are we cursing today? We need to be careful with what we say. Was that a tech pause I saw? No? Okay, devious. Yeah, anyways, don't want to curse anyone too hard, but maybe I'll say Newt Silver for the win this game, staying safe. And then maybe I'll curveball and say Coco Slayer. This could be her time. Again, no
Ooh.
wins yet, but
No wins
hopefully I
yet.
haven't cursed her, because I'm pretty sure I did that last week by accident.
I'm going to go, not necessarily left field. This is still a very strong player, but they do sit quite a few points adrift of the championship lead with a few absences, but they are here tonight. I'm going to go for Extra Thick
Okay,
for the win in game number 2. They were very, very strong and led a lot of the way in game 1. That early game comp, they really had it down pat. They were undefeated there. I think 6-0, 7-0 to start. Pretty ridiculous. Well, everyone was really failing to get a streak going. Extra Thick had it down pat, so I think maybe if they can just sort out that middle game, that late game, maybe Extra Thick might be able to take that first win off the season. We will have to wait and see. The lobby, though, still populating. So as we mentioned, of course, 8 players actually went into this round before game 1, mathematically able to win the championship with being 82 or less points behind Newt Silver. But of course, Newt Silver finishing second, only losing points to Jai, meant that now just Jai and Pastelova can win the title, obviously, except for Newt Silver. So the pool of potential champions has very much been depleted, but it's been a very, very strong season from all 3 of them. But we are about to head into game number 2 to decide the inaugural Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics Series champion. Game 2 is on your screens now.
Exciting, very exciting indeed.
We see Pastelova beginning phase 1-1. This we mentioned the most menial points of a TFT game. Just little units running around,
just
collecting small amounts of goodies.
The calm before the storm. The peace before the war.
A few PvE rounds will begin to warm up our players before they begin to fight each other. The bonus points are the same as before. You get 2 points if you manage to reach a prismatic trait Bilgewater. If you get prismatic Bilgewater, you'll get an additional point. As you mentioned, Bilgewater 10 could potentially be an automatic championship winner if you are any of Newt Silver, Jaya, or Pastelova. You get an additional point. You get a 3-star 4 cost, an additional 3 points if you get a 3-star 5 cost, and if you get a 3-star Misfortune, Swain, Renekton, or Lux, you can have an additional bonus point for each one of those that you get. So still many bonus points, although they've been notoriously difficult to get this season, I think by design, to keep things nice and close, but to definitely reward those who go for those more various comps, the ones that are a bit more left field, because very rarely do you see one of our bonus units be in one of the more meta comps of set 15. You'd think Soul Fight, Battle Academia, but now with the Yordle comps, with Bruiser comps, they are still nowhere really to be seen of these bonus units, so it still really challenges our players to get out there in terms of, you know, But I think at the beginning of a set 16, I think people early doors here are beginning to just err on the side of familiarity. We've seen a lot of Soul Fighter users like Silver and Jai. They've gone for those same sort of things. As we see some gold augment picks. This is Coco Slayer Selection, Warpath, Treasure Hunt, and URF. Gain a spatula if you do URF. I'm not sure a spatula is going to be particularly useful in a fantastical fighting game unless I am mistaken.
Well, first of all, it's Earth, not URF.
Earth.
Earth like the Earth, the manatee.
Okay.
A very, I think you need to play League of Legends to understand that.
Mm.
But yeah, spatula, why wouldn't that work, huh? Why wouldn't a spatula work?
Well, I feel like you'd more use that in the kitchen and less more on a fantastical, mystical battlefield.
I think a spatula is a very deadly
Maybe
weapon.
flip your opponents on their heads.
Oh my god.
Become totally incapacitated.
Absolutely decapitate your opponent
Decapitate
with a
your
spatula.
opponent with a spatula. Maybe a bit gory for a Teamfight Tactics, but a viable strategy nonetheless.
Very B-themed though. I hear that's what they do.
That is true, that is what they do. Bees are cute and all, but they have their brutal side to
They
them,
have
don't
their
they?
moment. They have their moments, that's for sure. Definitely don't hold us to that though. We are not responsible for any decapitation of bees, and if the information is incorrect, we are sorry.
We're not beekeepers. We just like bees.
We're just here, yeah. We're just bee enjoyers.
We are
okay?
bee enjoyers. Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, simply bee enjoyers. Is that fight between Retro and Patan are dragged on in that first initial fight there in phase 2-1. Neither of them wanted to go down there, but it was Patat that eventually got the win over Retro. Extra Thick, my pick to potentially win this game off to a winning start alongside Patat, Giant, and Newt Silver. George's pick as well. Pastelava on 95 points alongside Coco Slayer, Retro, and SZ Inca, our bot / random player / who knows what they are, but SZ Inca find themselves at the foot of the leaderboard on 94 points, heading back into phase 2-2 for some combat. We're focusing on Newt Silver. They're coming up against Coco Slayer. This is 4th versus 6th. Newt Silver potentially en route to becoming the inaugural Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics champion here, and a win in this game to make her 2-0 in game number 2 could put her well on her way to the championship. But Coco Slayer not going down without a fight here. We'll see if Coco Slayer has any response for the early picks that Newt Silver is able to pull off. They do not. And Newt Silver now 2-0 as well. Extra Thick goes 2-0. Pastelava gets their first win. Coco Slayer, SZ Inca, and Retro all 0-2. Patat and Jai still fighting on with just 10 seconds left on the clock. It's going to go the way of Jai. Patat down to just 97 points in 4th place here. So Extra Thick, Jai, and Newt Silver, the top 3 from game 1, are the only players left undefeated so far in game 2.
Yep. History repeats itself. Newt Silver here, we can see with a cluttered mind actually, which she got last game. But like you mentioned as well, that Soul Fighter-esque comp Ionia, Newt Silver going that potentially this game as well. As we saw a minute ago though, with the spatula, Coco Slayer potentially pushing for that 11 Demacia. You need 2 emblems to get it, and I believe that Earth Augment might give you another spatula after a short while, but not 100% sure on that. But again, not gonna knock on wood, not gonna curse Coco Slayer. This could be her game. This could be her game.
Could definitely be Coco Slayer's game here. Still all to play for in the early game here, and Coco Slayer looks to be getting a win here over Retro. 4 versus 1. Doesn't look like Retro has much of a response, and sure enough, Retro taking down their SZ Inca, and Retro now the only players yet to win a game here. Pastelava and Newt Silver losing out. They go down to 4th and 5th respectively. Coco Slayer in 6th, and as we head into the carousel for the first time, Extra Thick and Jai lead the way on 100 points, still undefeated. Patat in 3rd, Newt Silver in 4th, Pastelava in 5th, Coco Slayer 6th, SZ Inca in 7th, and Retro in 8th.
We need a bigger screen. If anyone's willing to donate like a 64-inch TV so we can watch this on, please. Please donate. Actually, if anyone wants to give us money, period, we still need to set up that
donate.
GoFundMe. Yeah.
we
Subscribe
do.
so
You can
you
also
don't
donate,
get ads.
because thanks to the amazing support of our fans, Hive Esports are now Twitch affiliates.
True, we are. True. Very true. So yeah, definitely give us your money. Anyways, Patat here, going Bilgewater. Maybe she's looking for that prismatic points or that, you know, Bilgewater +1 point, or maybe even just trying to get into that top 3 to get that £5 or £10 Amazon gift card respectively.
Yes. Of course, now incentives for everyone else. Second and third, while Jai and Pascal are the only ones able to mathematically win the championship, their own places in second and third are by no means safe here. There's still all to play for from second on down. Patat and Nutsilver now going at it. Patat winner from game 2, week 1, if you remember all the way back then. Nutsilver, though, getting the win over Patat. Moves Nutsilver up to third place, Patat down to fourth, as Coco Slayer, Estedinka and Retro, as well as Patat, all losing out there. Moves Pastel Lover up to fifth. The same top 3 though, Extra Thick, Giant and Nutsilver.
Yeah. Yeah, Jai here potentially going Zorn. Potentially a Jinx carry. Unfortunately, in my opinion, Jinx is such a fake unit. She looks like she does a lot, but I've never seen her do that much, unfortunately. Maybe I'll be proven wrong this game, though. Maybe Jai will pull something out of the hat or the bag and surprise me.
Well, we'll wait to see if Giant can do anything against his championship rival, Nutsilver here. It's a 4 versus 4 here. Both of them have reached level 5 here. So 5v5, pardon me. As immediately Nutsilver's frontline looks to be overwhelming Jai, as Extra Thick is on 5 wins in a row. Nutsilver will follow suit with a win over Jai. Extra Thick now the only player undefeated, as Jai is taken down to third place. Pastel Lover loses out as well as Coco Slayer and Retro. Retro now down to last place as Estedinka manages to win their first game of, their first fight of this game. They're up to 6th. Extra Thick, though, still leads the way. Nutsilver in second place, and we're focused here on Retro, a Yordle comp, which we saw eventually, I believe, win the game. I believe that was Jai's winning comp there. But all the way down in last place, potentially a lose streak to start things off for Retro.
Yeah, it was Nutsilver's comp last game, came second, very close to first place. But yeah, Retro, a very all over the place comp at the moment, but potentially just going for something a bit late game, as a lot of the better units this set are late game units. Oh no.
Oh no, Retro.
Oh, that's rough. That's
Retro
really rough.
losing the PvE round. Suffering a bit of the ignominy there. Coco Slayer is still fighting their PvE round. If you remember back to, I want to say, week 6, Coco Slayer just about gets it done in the nick of time.
Someone
Remember
clip
back
that.
to week 6, we had 3 players lose a single PvE round in one go.
Shaking my head.
That is not something we often see. I remember we were particularly gobsmacked in week 6 when we saw those PvE rounds being lost there. I think that's going to leave Retro slightly red-faced there, as everyone else was able to rather routinely, albeit Coco Slayer made it a bit difficult for themselves, but they eventually all won their PvE rounds. And now we are back to PvP combat. Patat is who we're focused on. They currently sit in 4th, and their opponent's going to be Extra Thick, who remains undefeated at the top of the standings. We'll see if Patat can take that win streak away from them as they begin to do battle here. Patat with the green health bars, Extra Thick with the red, and both of them immediately looking quite strong here, but Extra Thick's just beginning to overwhelm Patat, and eventually Patat somewhat went down without a whimper there. 6 wins in a row for Extra Thick. Nutsilver takes the win as well. Patat now down to 4th place. Still waiting on the results of the other 4 players, Retro, Coco Slayer, Estedinka, and Jai, as those fights continue on. Pastel Lover down to 6th place as Coco Slayer and Retro both losing out there, but Estedinka up to 5th and Jai still up to 3rd. And now some gold augment picks. This is Patat's selection. We have Little Buddies, Feed the Flames, and Unsealed from Steel.
Bets on picking Unsealed from Steel. That's a really popular one at the moment. Oh, never mind.
Oh. There's a reroll.
Wow. Screw me, I guess. But yeah, Unsealed from Steel is very popular at the moment, as it gives a Darkin weapon. Darkin being a very popular race in the League of Legends lore. But the Darkin weapon potentially not befitting of her comp at the moment. But yeah, Jai potentially looking for another one of those late game comps. Vi, a really strong unit as well at the moment, although being a 2-cost, is a very highly sought after unit, especially for those late game comps.
You'll see whether Jai's late game comps can deliver him a second week sweep. Of course, swept week number 2 all the way back then, which put him at the time in the championship lead. He has failed to keep that championship lead at the moment, is having one last-ditch effort to potentially take it back right at the death from Newt Silver. Jai versus Coco Slayer now on the cards, as immediately Extra Thick walks all over Retro. That fight was done pretty quickly. Retro down to just 46 points. Jai and Coco Slayer really slugging this one out as Patat and Estedinka both lose out to Newt Silver and Pastelova. And eventually Jai does get the win over Coco Slayer. And now the top 4 are Extra Thick, Newt Silver, Jai and Pastelova, with Patat, Estedinka, Coco Slayer and Retro the bottom 4.
Yeah, unfortunate for Retro, not having the best season. But Pastelova doing a lot better this game. Not on 12 HP already, which is good to see. Yeah, Pastelova going for that Yordle with Pandora's bench, so going to be easier to get those Yordle units. So yeah, we could see him scale pretty heavily into the mid to late game.
We'll see how that scaling comes for them. Pastelova now against Jai here. So this is 3rd versus 4th in the game, and of course 2nd versus 3rd in the championship. So this is still very much pride on the line here between these two in their own respective points battle here. Pivotal for whoever gets the win here, and immediately looks like Jai might just about have the advantage here. Begins to go after Pastelova's backline here, but now it's a 2v2. Is Jai going to get it done? It becomes a 2v1. Pastelova now just overwhelmed and is going to just about get it done against Pastelova is Jai. Newt Silver loses out. Extra Thick remains undefeated, puts Jai up to 2nd place. Estedinka up to 4th, as Coco Slayer and Retro still fight it out at the bottom of the leaderboard, 7th versus 8th. It's going to go the way of Coco Slayer. Retro down to 37 points.
Wow, definitely not going his way today. Yeah, 37 points already is not great, unfortunately. Pastelova on our favorite number points as well, as we go into the carousel.
Yeah, of course, Extra Thick, as we mentioned, still leads the way, completely undefeated. Jai on 94 points, Newt Silver on 85, and a big gap back there to Estedinka on 68, behind, or just ahead of Pastelova by 1 point. Patat on 63, Coco Slayer on 56, and then as we mentioned, Retro not with the best start, yet to win a game, yet to win a fight, I should say, on 37 points. We're focused here on Pastelova going for that Yordle comp we've mentioned. Jai and Newt Silver pretty much going the exact same tactic there immediately. At the same time, in unison, up to level 7. We see Extra Thick's comp. I mean, this is one we haven't seen. Noxus. The first time we've seen a Noxus comp so far tonight as well. We see Vanquisher, Slayer, and Darkin. So all of those are brand new comps that we have not seen so far.
Yeah, Noxus spawns in Atakan, which is a little freak in the bottom left, which is just being stood over by Extra Thick at the moment. But you'll see him jump in the board at the moment. But the more Noxus units you get, the stronger it gets. But also, the more Noxus units you have, the stronger they will get, the longer Atakan is on the field. It's a very good comp to gateway into the late game, but 7 or even 10 Noxus can be quite strong on their own, so hopefully we'll see a 10 Noxus game. But as we can also see there, the Unsealed from Steel, the Darkened Scythe there, giving healing and AoE damage and some AD.
And I think that combination together really helped Extra Thick there. Absolutely tore through their opponent like a hot knife through butter there. That Atacon particularly super survivable as well. Lost barely any health as it swept around the map. You saw it jump in, as George mentioned there. And now Retro again as well loses out down to just 24 points. Jai and Newt Silver trailing Extra Thick, but not by much. They are forming a big, big gap between that top 3 down to everybody else. Now we're focused on Coco Slayer, who's 2nd bottom. And here we see Newt Silver, who is 3rd on the leaderboard right now, chasing that championship. Coco Slayer chasing potentially a higher leaderable position. 7th place is not what Coco Slayer needs, as they are themselves embroiled in their own points fight in the mid-table here. Coco Slayer trying to overwhelm Newt Silver, and it's going to be a fairly even fight here. Both front lines immediately very depleted, but it's going to just about go the way of Newt Silver here with a 3v1 to finish it off. And Newt Silver's up to second as Jai loses out the bottom 3. As Patat and Retro still fight it out here. We'll see if Retro can snap that loss streak. It is going to go the way of Patat, however, and now down to just 15 points is Retro with 10 losses in a row, down to just 15 points. Did unlock that Koboko and Yumi units there, as well as you mentioned the unlockable units, new to set 16. But Retro is going to have to find something and fast with that Bruiser comp to make something happen here.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that actually. It looks like he's going Bruiser, but not sure what he's going. Well, maybe Freljord, maybe going for potentially Alessandra. But yeah.
Head back into PvE here. We're focused on Retro. Hopefully Retro can get it done this time. Extra Thick up to level 7. Everyone else wins their PvE. Waiting on Retro to get those last couple of picks, and he will do so here. Does not suffer the ignominy of losing their PvE fight like they did last time. Most definitely leaving them a bit red-faced here. As we see now I see SZ Inco, someone we've not focused on much today, going for a Noxus Juggernaut comp, and that's up to a 7 here, so a gold Noxus comp. Potentially could be strong, mention that Atakan as well, with really great survivability it would seem, and really starts to do a lot of damage. Of course, the longer it stays there, the more damage the Noxus units begin to do as well.
Yeah, the reason why the Ambessa is being put at the front there is because if a 2-star Ambessa holding 2 items, I believe she needs, or just 1 item, they will unlock Mel, who is a really strong unit, but also a Noxus unit. So yeah.
We see now SZ Inca is going to potentially get overwhelmed here. Actually up against, we can't tell who they're up against. I think Extra Thick. They're
Extra
just
Thick, yeah.
blocked out there by the scoreboard at the top. That's Extra Thick's avatar there. Extra Thick leading the way and is going to get the win here over SZ Inca. Just about, no. SZ Inca with the comeback. Out of nowhere, look for all the world like that. Atakan for Extra Thick was going to get it done, but eventually that win streak snapped there for SZ Inca there. Retro down to just 2 points of 11 losses in a row. That could potentially be our first elimination of this final game of the season, but Extra Thick still leads the way. Newt Silver just 7 points behind. Jai just 9 points behind. SZ Inca on 68. Patat on 42. Pastelo here on 39. We haven't mentioned gone for that Yordle Defender comp, as we see some 2-star Unipix, a 3-star Briar there for Extra Thick, as well a 2-star Misfortune for Patat. Misfortune, one of our chosen units. If you get a 3-star Misfortune, you'll get an extra bonus point as well.
Yeah, Pastelova a little bit late to finding these 3-star Yordles, but finding some of them nonetheless. 2 away from that Tristana and, 5 away from that Lulu. So a little bit rough, but getting there. And yeah, Patat there going for that Bilgewater. Uncontested at the moment. So yeah, hopefully we'll find that 3-star Misfortune or that 10 Bilgewater this game.
See, Pastelova and Patat as SZ Inca now up to 5 wins in a row. Takes down Newt Silver. So Newt Silver with a dent in her winning charge here. And Retro immediately eliminated there by Extra Thick. So Retro goes 0-12 en route to a very early exit in game number 2. Not what you want to see here. Not even a single fight won there for Retro in game 2. So now 7 players remain as Newt Silver reaches level 8. SZ Inca now with that fire reaches 5 wins in a row. That Noxus comp really beginning to come through for SZ Inca. Jai closing the gap to Extra Thick to just 9 points. Newt Silver a further 10 points back. It's all beginning to get very tight and very topsy-turvy in this middle game. So we head back into the battlefield here. Newt Silver will come through the portal and will come up against Patat here. So this is 3rd versus 6th here. Newt Silver in the green, Patat in the red. See Newt Silver going for a Blacksmith Ionia comp here. So a pivot away from the Yordle comp that we saw her go to second place with in game number 1, and immediately her front line looks particularly strong, but you see her backline begin to get attacked now by Patat, and Patat is going to potentially get the win, and she does get the win over Newt Silver. Esedinka up to 6 wins in a row. That knocks Newt Silver down to 4th. Coco Slayer and Pastelova losing out as well, down to 5th and 6th. This fight, this game, just got very topsy-turvy indeed. Newt Silver beginning to falter here.
Yeah, she's on that 6 Ionia, just 1 away from that 7 Ionia, but unfortunately still has that Jhin as her carry, so falling off a little bit as we get into that mid to late game.
So we head back into the carousel. Only Retro so far is eliminated. Extra Thick still leads the way. Giant losing out as well. So that is a big gap now. 21 points in the lead is Extra Thick, and beginning to build something of a win streak again. As Patat reaches level 8, we see some more 2-star picks from Giant and from Pastelova. Coco Slayer as well, reaching level 8. And we're focused on Esedinka, that Noxus comp really going well. Pastelova as well, that Yordle comp. I think beginning a lose streak to start the game is starting to come back now, albeit only on 27 points, and so far is only on a 1-fight lose streak. So potentially not getting the econ they need at the moment. But we're going to head back into combat here with Extra Thick.
Yes, Extra Thick against Newt Silver, I believe this is. Wow.
Extra Thick absolutely tearing through their opponent, and that is going to be Extra Thick getting the win over one of the clones it was. As Extra Thick manages to keep that streak alive 3 in a row. Newt Silver loses out again. Patat as well. Jai Esedinka all the way up to 2nd in one fell swoop there with 7 wins in a row. Coco Slayer stays alive on 15 points. A 3-star Lulu for Pastelova. You mentioned that earlier, George, was one of the units they were looking for. Tom Kench unlocked for Patat. Tom Kench, one of the strongest units in this new set, can potentially eat the entire board if you let it. So Patat potentially one to watch in this late game with that Tom Kench. Extra Thick, though, still leads the way, focused here on Jai with the Blacksmith Eternal Quick Striker comp. We see another new comp that we have not yet seen, and out of the portal to take on that comp comes Esedinka, who's on 6 wins in a row. Can Jai put a stop to it? He's in the green health bars. Esedinka there in the red at the moment. Extra Thick, though, controlling the game. 7 players remain, only Retro eliminated so far. And Jai beginning to tear through Esedinka, but Esedinka's backline looks very, very strong indeed. Can he mount a comeback? He's beginning to, and does. Jai falls. Esedinka now to 7 wins in a row. Extra Thick loses out. Esedinka closes into just 10 points behind Extra Thick. Newt Silver loses out as well, as the bottom 3 all win their fights.
What is going on in this game? Yeah, Esedinka and Extra Thick both going that Noxus comp, and both doing really well. Newt Silver swapping here to the Yunara. Unfortunately, only a 1-star. Hopefully will come back in a little bit, though, when she gets that 2-star. But Yunara's a pretty fun unit. I mean, look at those lasers.
Definitely going to do quite a bit of long-range damage to all those lasers here, as it's some routine PvE fighting for everyone. Newt Silver, Pastelova, Patat, all getting it done. Extra Thick up to level 8 as well. So Extra Thick will have an additional unit to play with here, and that could be potentially a difference maker as they look to retain the lead of this game. Newt Silver picking up a 2-star cannon as well. But right now, there are some big points gaps. I'm looking mainly at between Esedinka and Jai, and between Jai and Newt Silver as well, as I saw someone pick up another 2-star Misfortune there. So 2 players with the Misfortune unit, but neither player yet to get it to level 3 for that additional bonus points, as Pastelova now next to take on Esedinka here. Pastelova trying to take away Esedinka's winning streak here. Right now, you'd have to say Inca potentially looks like the strongest player so far. But right now it's beginning to walk all over Pastelova here, and may get it done, and does here. Esedinka dominant over Pastelova. Patat on just 9 points. Coco Slayer and Jai still fighting as Newt Silver wins there and overtakes Giant by just a single point here. And as things stand right now, with Newt Silver ahead of both Giant and Pasta Lover, Newt Silver will be champion here in phase 5-2 here. Extra Thick leads the way, managing to get back to winning ways, is still 10 points ahead of Inca and 38 points ahead of Newt Silver.
Yeah, Extra Thick getting that 7 Noxus hasn't unlocked that Mel yet, or has and just hasn't put it in. But yeah, a little bit of a Briar carry situation going on here with that Gangplank being put in for that Juggernaut, for that Vanquisher and that Slayer. Yeah, Atakan putting in the work.
See Extra Thick against the Pasta Lover here now. Extra Thick beginning to really do some damage to Pasta Lover here. The Atakan, as well as we've mentioned, beginning to really do some good AoE damage to Pasta Lover, and eventually this will be the win for Extra Thick, and it is. Patat as well is eliminated. Pasta Lover hangs on by a thread here on just 1 point. Newt Silver losing out as well. Jai retakes third place as Extra Thick, Inca and Jai all win their fights. Means that Patat is eliminated in 7th place. Newt Silver is down to 4th here.
Yeah, Coco Slayer potentially going for that Garen 3. Very close to it at the moment, only 3 away, but only on 15 health points, so could potentially just miss out on it. Unfortunately hasn't been able to get that second Demacia emblem, so no Demacia 11 for Coco Slayer this game, but will they be able to win against SC Inca?
Have to wait and see. Inca has all the momentum so far with an 8-game win streak. Coco Slayer on 4 in a row as well is no slouch as well. That Demacia comp, as you mentioned, beginning to be very, very strong, but Inca seems absolutely unstoppable at the moment. Coco Slayer is out. Pasta Lover now on just 1 point, hanging on by a thread, and is now eliminated. So that's 2 down in 1 go. Newt Silver may well be next on the chopping block on just 12 points with another loss. We head back into the carousel. It is most definitely a tale of 2 halves here in this game. Extra Thick and Inca so far dominating on 78 and 68 points respectively. Meanwhile, in 3rd place is Jai on 39 points, and rather uncharacteristically, Newt Silver all the way down in 4th on just 12 points.
Yeah, despite it being a bad game, she don't need it. She knows she's won. She's got that confidence. That's for sure. But yeah, the bot winning at the moment.
11 games in a row won.
That's a bit awkward, isn't it?
What if a bot breaks the record? The record currently held by Retro. 18 fights, 1 in a row en route to victory.
That'd be really funny.
If a non-listed player were to break that record, that would be quite something. That would be a story for sure. We'll see if Extra Thick, though, who's currently in 1st place, has anything to say about it, as Inca currently on 11 wins in a row. Extra Thick, though, does hold all the cards here. This will be Inca's greatest challenge yet, but I don't think it's going to be much of a challenge, as Extra Thick has nothing to answer with here against Inca's Noxus comp, and Inca's going to take the lead of this game by 2 points here, and is now on 12 wins in a row, and Newt Silver is out. It may not be enough for anyone to usurp the championship from her, but this is one of the worst results we've seen from Newt Silver in a long, long time, possibly one of her worst weeks, as only a 2nd and a 4th for Newt Silver. She is out in game 2. Jai remains in 3rd place, Extra Thick in 2nd, and Inca in 1st place on 12 fights won consecutively.
Yeah, Newt Silver out 4th. Not her best game, but still top 4 is a win. So we will take it. Extra Thick 1 away from Mel 2 here, as well as SC Inca. But Jai very getting close to that 3-star Braum. Only 3 away from him. Absolutely annihilates Extra Thick, though.
Extra Thick powerless to resist as Inca loses out to Jai here. So now this has blown this race wide open here as the top three. The only three remaining are all within 13 points of each other as Inca loses that winning streak, could not make it 13 in a row. The streak is halted at 12, meaning that Inca is on just 52 points. Extra Thick only 5 points behind on 47. Dry on 39 with 4 wins in a row. The momentum now swinging the other way here as we head back into PvE purely for loot and goodies for our players here, and they're going to enter one final string of fights here to finish off this game, finish off this week, finish off season number 1 here of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. And while it will not be the eventual champion winning the game, things look all but wrapped up for 4th place Newt Silver for the championship.
Yeah, Extra Thick potentially looking for a 2-star Azir here for that Disruptor and potentially for a little bit more damage and front line. But unfortunately, the Noxus Briar not carrying over into the late game as much as he would like. But Esed Inca here with that Blighting Jewel on Mel could be absolutely devious if it still works how it used to, giving shredding magic resist on magic damage, which Mel does pretty much consistently.
Definitely, as Inca now may well win against Jai. Jai just about gets it done, and now with 5 wins in a row, look at how close this top 3 is. Jai takes the lead by just a single health point over Inca, and Inca is just 5 ahead of Extra Thick here. So now just 6 points separate all the remaining players here. Jai, though, with all the momentum, looking to sweep the week. May not win him the championship, but will most definitely be putting his stamp on the season if he is able to get that 5th win on the season, which would still only be bested by Newt Silver's 6.
Yeah, even if he doesn't win the season, he's still securing that place in that top 3. So he will be securing that either that £10 or that £5 Amazon gift voucher. Do not forget about it. But yeah.
It may not be a stuffed plush B, but an Amazon gift voucher is nothing to scoff at. And sure enough, Ares Jai getting it done against Inca. Inca now down to 3rd place as Extra Thick manages to get above Inca there with a win now. 6 points separates the 6-win strong Jai against Extra Thick, who is now back to winning ways. Jai up to level 10. That is the first time all season we've seen anyone reach level 10, and what a time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Getting more units, especially against SC Inca here, as they are a pretty strong contender. As Jai literally almost lost against them last round, but hopefully this level 10 new unit will help keep him in the lead.
A 2-level advantage over Extra Thick and a 6-fight win streak. It all looks to be going the way of Jai here against Extra Thick. Inca will be taking on one of the clones, and immediately look at the damage that does to Extra Thick here, down to just 11 points. Inca down to just 2 here. And as we head back into the carousel, this could be done in the very next game. Jai on 39 points, level 10, 7 wins in a row. Extra Thick down to 11 points, Inca down to just 2 after having a 12-fight win streak, and potentially looking like this was their game to lose. Eventually, this is going the way of Jai, and Inca and Extra Thick will need to climb a mountain if they are to best Jai for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Extra Thick potentially rolling for that 3-star Braum there. But it looks like he won't even need it at this rate. Extra Thick may just be able to secure that 2nd place if he takes just a little bit less damage than that SC Inca, which I think is definitely doable due to the health gap between them. So yeah, they could potentially both be against Jai here.
And it looks like that may be the case. This is Jai versus Inca. on your screens. We'll see if Inca can do anything to stop Jai's momentum here. But Jai just looks so strong with those additional 2 units, beginning to overwhelm Inca here with such great damage output. Inca eliminated. Extra Thick loses out as well. This could be game, set, and match. It won't be enough for Jai to win the championship with 5 wins on the season. Newt Silver is going to get it done. She is the Season 1 Hive Esports Teamfight champion.
What a queen. What a queen. We potentially knew it was going to be her from the start. She had a really strong start in the competition, but then just continued that winning streak. Again, every week, amazing performances. But also a very well done to Jai as well. A very close second, again, winning that game. So very well done. And congratulations to everyone in the tournament.
Absolutely. It's been a brilliant season with enthralling games from start to finish with many different faces, I should say.
Yeah.
Leading the points at one point from Jai to Patat at one point as well. Let's not forget in week 1, eventually Newt Silver assumed the lead and never looked back with a dominant second half of the season. Puts her in an exclusive club as Hive Esports' first ever series champion. There you go. You see it on your screen. There's your visual confirmation. Newt Silver, Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics Series Season 1 champion. And how well deserved is that?
Yeah, what a diva. Made live, by the way. Our busy bees in the background putting their stingers to work. But yeah, absolutely well done from Newt Silver. And I hope she enjoys her coveted plush bee trophy.
Hopefully she'll be hoisting it up high in the air. But that is it for the points paying matches here for Season 1 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. Of course, do not forget weeks 9 and 10, the bonus weeks, will be on twitch.tv/Hive Esports games as well. I can tell you right now, week 9 will involve myself and George, but not here. We will have some guest casters as myself and George take to the battlefield with myself playing Teamfight Tactics for the very first time. It'll be very exciting to see just how terribly I do. Alas, that will be on December 15th in just a week's time at 7 p.m. Oh, no, it won't.
No, that will be... No,
That's
we have Christmas break. We have Christmas break for 3 weeks.
Thank you for subtly shaking your head at the camera.
That's
That's in January.
Yeah, we will be back the second week of January, potentially. I don't know what date that is, but it's the week after the 5th. So we will be gone for 4 weeks. But yes, then we will have our very special game where we will have the champion of this series, Newt Silver, being a guest caster along with Patat, while me and Will play some double ups in the background.
It is going to be fun. It is going to be absolute carnage. And the best part is there's no more consequences in terms of points. Newt Silver is the champion. That is all but confirmed. So congratulations to Newt Silver. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to all our players for participating. We hope to see you back for whatever we may be cooking up for the new year. You'll have to wait and see, but it will all be live here on twitch.tv/Hive Esports games. Thank you very much for watching. Have a very good night. Remember to follow all our socials on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram. We are very busy bees.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and good night.